Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. This is Jessops Journal. This episode of Jessops Journal, I decided to do a virtual field trip since things are a little crazy. And we're at a really cool place that I love called Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. And with me is
Brent Beardsley. I'm the Public Programs Manager here at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium, and it's great to have you aboard today. There are a lot of really awesome and amazing things to see, but one place I always recommend people start is right here in our own backyard in our Utah Hall. One thing that I love to tell people and point out about our Utah Hall is that it's not just exhibits to see, but the hall itself is a journey. We start with the famous Red Rock Canyons of southern Utah, and as we travel through, it's like we're following the Green River up north through Utah, and you can see how water interacts with all of the different animals that live here. So we start off with a few of our desert animals. We've got some really neat ones that are kind of small. It's always fun watching kids trying to find the desert tarantula and our scorpion.
cool.
Over here, we've got some of our king snakes. Now, the king snakes are pretty good at hiding, but you'll see them poking their heads out every now and then. Usually, when you're thinking of southern Utah in the desert, see, tree frogs isn't one of the animals that comes to mind.
True.
But the canyon tree frogs and red-spotted toads live in those areas, and they will wait until the spring in the rainy season when you get little vernal pools and ponds. And that's when they lay their eggs.
Oh, but darn.
And they have to grow fast. You think it takes a while to grow up.
Right.
Those guys have to go from egg to tadpole to an adult in about 6 weeks.
I like the petroglyphs. Those are cool.
We've got Charlie and Walter in here. These guys are our desert tortoises. They're both rescues from the Division of Wildlife Resources because desert tortoises are a protected species.
Quiz question time.
All right.
What's the difference between a tortoise and a turtle?
That's going to depend on who you ask and how they're defining it.
Okay.
But generally speaking, a tortoise is going to be living on land, has a more rounded shell, and feet with toes and claws, whereas a turtle is going to have a smoother, flatter shell for cutting through the water, and then they'll have flippers to get around.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Ah, sturgeon. So you got your own little caviar going on here, huh?
That's right.
So where are these guys from?
So sturgeon like this are not going to be native to Utah. There have been a few attempts to introduce them and bring them in, but we don't have any big populations. However, if you go north just a little bit to Idaho and follow the Snake River, that's where you can find quite a few of them, including some of the record sturgeon.
Wow. So how big do these sturgeon get?
Some sturgeon have been recorded growing up to upwards of 20 feet long.
Really?
Yeah. Which, if you're a fisherman, that would be the prize, right? You just long line cast that, and there you go. Bullfrogs were brought in as a food item and a delicacy.
Really?
Yeah, back when frogs' legs was a popular thing, they brought them in so that they would have those. You don't normally think of a frog as being a top predator, but some guys like bullfrogs, they'll eat whatever they can fit in their mouth.
Okay, quiz question time. What's the difference between a frog and a toad?
The difference is right behind their eyes. Toads have a little bump called the parotoid gland, and that's where they make their poison. Frogs don't have that.
I'll be darned. I didn't know that.
This is some of the rarest fish that we have here at the aquarium. All of these guys are native to Utah, and they are all either endangered species or critically endangered. The Colorado pike minnow, he's the largest guy.
That's a big minnow. You
It is,
think minnows are tiny? That's not a big...
Oh no, they're some of the largest of the minnows.
Okay.
Then we've got our bony-tailed chubs.
Okay, I'm familiar with those.
The round-tail chubs. Oh, and there's one of our desert suckers.
You gotta love a rainbow.
This is up in the Flaming Gorge area. We've got different trout species.
Well, I gotta say, I love this sign. There's always a rainbow after the storm. You know, we're kind of going through a storm right now.
Next, I would love to go to our beehives. One big thing people always ask is, can these bees leave the aquarium? And the answer is yes. We've got tunnels that connect to the outside, so our bees will actually fly out into the local area, visit and pollinate flowers, and then come on back in.
Busy bees.
Indeed.
Busy bees.
Our otter exhibit has two parts. We've got an indoor section and an outdoor section.
Oh, cool. Where are the otters native?
Pretty much anywhere that there's water and fish, you can find them. Here in Utah, you can find them in the Green River, Strawberry, Duchesne, Escalante,
Cool.
Provo.
So, you know, the cool thing about this otter exhibit is you can get really close with this special little pop-up thing. Love wood ducks.
The male wood duck especially has such an amazing and vibrant color pattern to it. But it doesn't look like this all year. This is his spring color.
Oh, really?
After the egg laying season and the breeding season, in the fall, he'll start to turn more of a dull brown color. And then once spring comes around again, back come the bright colors and patterns.
Wow. So where are wood ducks from?
They're going to be by lakes and ponds. They love to find places where there's big trees that are close to the water, and that's where they lay their eggs. If you look carefully at their feet, you can actually see they've got little claws that they use to help climb the trees.
Really?
Yeah.
A duck in a tree.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you
The
go.
female will find a nest and get a nice spot 20 to 40, maybe even up to 60 feet up in a tree.
Wow.
Next, let's head over to our ocean hall.
You know, you can come over here and hug a whale, I guess.
That's right.
What are these whales? Holy Hannah.
Yeah, so all of our statues that you see are going to be life-size. We've got a mother humpback whale and little baby whale right next to her there.
There's these little bumps. What in the world are those?
Barnacles.
Barnacles? How did they get on a whale?
When they're tiny little babies floating in the water,
Yeah.
they will attach onto a whale and ride around from there.
Okay. Well, I know they go whoosh, whoosh.
Different species of whale will have different types of barnacles that grow on them.
Based on what the whale eats, probably.
Yeah, based on the whale eats, where it goes, what it does. This is the largest type of shark we know of, the whale shark.
Yep.
Largest shark alive. Now, we have found evidence of larger sharks, such as the megalodon.
Whoa.
Megalodon's an ancient species of shark that went extinct a while ago, but we estimate based on the teeth that we found, they can be up to 50 feet long.
I noticed that sharks have not just one set of teeth, they have multiple rows. Quiz question time. How do the teeth work on a shark?
The teeth on a shark are going to be growing out of the gums, kind of like scales, rather than out of the bone like our teeth.
Okay.
And so because of that, they kind of conveyor belt. Just like we lose hair every now and then, sharks lose teeth and they just keep growing more and more as they go.
Wow, that is cool.
In their lifetime, a shark can lose anywhere between 3,000 and 30,000 teeth, depending on the species. We've got a sandbar shark tooth right here, and a gray reef shark tooth. You'll notice that they're not quite the same shape either. Just like we have different teeth for different jobs, sharks will have different teeth to help catch different types of foods.
Okay.
Longer teeth are going to be more designed for slippery fish.
Okay.
Curved teeth will be a little bit stronger for crunching. These guys here are manta rays. Manta rays are in the ray family, but instead of being like their cousins, the stingrays that live on the bottom and have a stinging tail, manta rays will swim in the open ocean and rely on size instead of a stinger to help protect themselves.
Hey, let's go explore the ocean.
The ocean's a great place to explore.
This is cool.
The Pacific Rocky Shores are where you can find all of these animals, from the anemones to the sea urchins and the sea stars that we have in here.
My granddaughter Natalia loves the touch tank.
So with the anemones, go and touch it on the tentacles there.
Okay.
And how does it feel?
Ooh, number one. Oh, it's sticky.
Yeah, it feels sticky. And did you see what that one did there? How it kind
yeah.
of closed up?
Uh-huh.
Now try touching one with a glove and see what it does. And it looks like it reacted as well. The anemones, they grab onto things to get food. That's what makes it feel sticky. They've got little tiny harpoons that they shoot to help catch onto their food.
Okay, now I remember growing up near the beach, and we loved these little purple guys.
Yeah.
Sea urchins.
Yep.
Okay, so what do sea urchins eat?
Sea urchins are going to be eating all sorts of algae and seaweed that they find.
Okay.
In fact, there's some places with the big, huge kelp forests. If there's no sea otters to keep the sea urchins under control, then they'll eat all of the kelp and cause all sorts of problems.
Yeah, I know they can replicate real fast. If I remember correctly, number one, those are pretty sharp, and they're really attached.
Oh yeah, they hold on really tightly. They may not look like it, but sea urchins and sea stars are actually cousins.
Quiz question time.
All right.
What is the difference between a sea star and a starfish?
The difference between a sea star and a starfish is how you say it. That's all the difference.
Yep. Okay.
It's just a lot of scientists and marine biologists prefer to say sea star because it's actually not a fish. One of the things I love about this tide pool is just like a real tide pool, the longer you look and the harder you look, the more little things you'll start to find.
True.
There's a couple crabs in here, sea cucumbers.
Oh, really?
A few different types of sea stars and sea urchins. If you look right on that rock wall between those two anemones, there's a couple little white tabs.
Oh, yeah.
Those are snail eggs.
Really?
Yeah. Another super popular one are the seahorses.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves to see seahorses. At first glance in here, it might not look like there's anything at all. If you start to look carefully, you'll see blending in and hiding
camouflage.
are some seahorses. These guys are the pot-bellied seahorse.
I can see
because
why.
they've got that big pot belly. This one here is a female seahorse, and you can tell because there's no pouch. You can see there's a stomach there, and it's a very sharp line.
Okay.
And the seahorses are, of course, famous because the male is the one who carries and hatches the eggs.
How did they get the name seahorse?
If you look, they've kind of got that long nose.
Okay.
And their head, to somebody, looked enough like a horse that that's what they called it. The scientific name of seahorses, hippocampus, the hippo is actually horse. So there you go.
Nemo.
Nemo.
It's Nemo.
People always ask, can you find Nemo here? And Nemo's the one with the small fin on one side. So you just take a look and see if you can see.
This is like Where's Waldo, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I can't see, but I do notice that you've got different colors.
Yeah.
So you got the orange with the white. You got the black with the white.
There's one that's all orange.
Oh, now
right
that's
there.
cool. Okay.
And we've got one that's all black somewhere in here as well. They might look different, but they're all actually the same species, the same type of clownfish.
Quiz time here for the Nemo tank. So you've got the clownfish and you have the anemones. I thought anemones ate things like fish.
You are indeed right. The clownfish have found a way to work with the anemones. The clownfish will get little bits of slime from the anemone on their body, so when they go through the anemone, it doesn't sting them. It just says, oh, that's me.
The technical term for that is?
Symbiosis.
Symbiosis. That's the answer, okay? That's the answer, symbiosis.
This place is huge, and we're not done. Be watching for the next Jessops Journal when we continue this virtual field trip. I want to thank Brent for giving us a tour of the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. Thanks also goes out to the underwriters that made this possible: Rustico, 5Y Sanitizer, JW Custom Hats, Liquidert, and Taylor Cooperative. With another entry into Jessops Journal, I'm Doug Jessup, ABC4 News.